evening, everybody. Hope you're all well. Yeah, big news today. Obviously, as we know what's happening in Ukraine with Russia and how it's going to affect us. And I've been speaking to Dion from DCX Bullion, who deals with hard currencies, literally. And he's here to tell us a little bit more on how we should be focusing our money. Yeah, so let's talk to him. How's it, Dion?
Hey, Ruthie, how are you?
No, lekker, man.
Good.
Glad to have you with us. So yeah, we're doing this. We're very. I mean, I'm just freaked out by the petrol price. I learned today as well that already since I think Tuesday the petrol price or the barrel price per dollar has gone up $10, if not more. So our rand is worth nothing, and I keep kicking myself and going, I should have. But yeah, I should have bought gold. I should have bought platinum. So tell us how to do it. Tell us why, and also not only because of crises, but how the world is changing in terms of generating power and electric vehicles and going green.
Okay. So firstly, Ruthie, thanks for your time, and to all your listeners, it's always appreciated to have these opportunities. And as you know, I mean, I'm exceptionally passionate about this, and it's times like now that we actually see real value of real money. And why I say that is, there's a lot of hype in and I'm not an enemy of Bitcoin, because I do believe that blockchain technology has its merits, and in fact that technology is going to be utilized more in our futures than we even can understand right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very clear in these times of uncertainty, as what's happened today, where Russia invaded, and they've gone in, and the gold price was sitting at around, if I can see here, it was around just over $1,900 an ounce. And it peaked over at $1,070 an ounce in the space of a day. There's been quite a bit of a pullback, and it's currently sitting at $1,925 an ounce. But what it's saying to me, to everybody, is this: it's very simple, and it's a known fact. We've traded with gold and silver as long as we've been trading as human beings, and gold and silver are real currency. In fact, they are currencies, and in moments like this, it proves it very clearly, because all the major big institutions, investment institutions, big banks around the world and countries start to then stockpile gold, because they know that it has a natural protector of wealth. And that's pretty much what's happened today. I mean, it just went through the roof. It's now sitting very clearly above $1,900 an ounce. And the likelihood of it staying there, and if not going higher, it's guaranteed. We've been waiting for this bull market within the commodity space for a while. We see how you mentioned oil, how it's responding. And I mean, we tend to get price increases mainly in this country based on tax increases on the fuel levies, which is more than 51% of our fuel is tax. So when you get the oil that's running at the rampant pace it is now, it just compounds that. And I mean, I've even heard some economists saying that they've got to start to also feather the tax part of the fuel to accommodate it. But I always say this: it's easy. Once we as the consumers have got to a certain level of threshold of tolerance, that we can, we fill up a car and it costs us over 20 Rand a litre. Then suddenly there's a retraction. What's government going to do? They're going to push it up to keep it at 20 Rand a litre, because they know that we can tolerate that. We just get on with it. And that's where they start. And that's what they've done through the last decade, is they've just increased their fuel price. And that's what's caused this problem. So, yeah, I mean, but back to interesting enough, Bullion, and you just touched on it. And, the interesting thing with where silver and gold, and specifically silver and platinum, is the green economy. And we're sitting on this new decade, and we're 2 years into this decade, the 2020s. And it is evidently clear that the world has changed. And we saw it happen with COVID, and it literally changed everything on how we do it. And now suddenly, we're moving away from how we used to do things, how we process things. People are becoming more as far as resource efficient, lower carbon emissions. COP26 happened, and now there's even a greater urgency. A lot of the big countries and continents are now making commitments that by 2050 they want to be carbon neutral. In other words, they don't want to have any carbon producing vehicles on roads and things like that. So there's a massive drive. And then we saw it with Elon Musk with Tesla, how he was able to take an electric car, which was not popular. There was a couple of versions, but there's big problems. The distances of how long the batteries and to recharge and all those kind of things. And it becomes a problem. And he then went proved, and he made electric cars look sexy. And now suddenly everyone wants to own a Tesla. And then you got the jump on, and Tesla is now the biggest automotive company in the world. And that's by people buying into the business because they see the success of it.
Yes, No, those vehicles, those energy units comprise of platinum, silver, and things that you want to get people to invest in to help improve their lives and their wealth base. So so people, I just want to mention your amazing website, DCX Bullion. It's easier than you think. You can do a monthly premium. You can buy actual hard commodity in the form of coins. If you watch a previous stream we did, we showed you all the coins. Tell us, so, we all think, okay, South Africa, being in this economy, being in this country, we've got Eskom that's about to, they've crashed. To me, in my mind, I think they've crashed. They've literally, they're holding on by a thread. Tell me sort of, for South African, I mean, we were talking about Magnus Haystack, and what people have been doing throughout the ages. Investing in RAs. I mean, I was telling you now that I've got an RA, and I'm sort of floundering, and I've got a small investment, but so what should we be? What did Magnus Haystack? You wanted to read his tweet?
It was a tweet that he actually did yesterday, and it was quite interesting. I mean, he mentioned here the hidden costs and charges in all style RAs and preservation funds are horrendous. Did some analysis on a big three life insurers, and over 5 years, all the costs and charges, almost no one made any money after inflation. So, and this is the typical story. We hear it. I've got an RA, you've got an RA, and you talk about these things. I mean, we were educated to believe that we needed to plan for our futures, for our retirement and those kind of things. But these vehicles, and I hear this all the time, that someone, they get to the age where they can qualify to access part of their RA. And then they say, well, it was said that you get about 2.5. Then they're like, no, you go to 1.8 because the markets didn't perform as they did. And then now they're speaking about inflation and things like that. And then suddenly they say, okay, but you can't take 1.8. You can only take half now, and then we'll give you it in portions. And to me, that is one of the biggest fundamental failings of how we've been educated. And this is where, where we saw physical bullion as a means for same kind of thing. If you were investing in physical bullion on a monthly basis to the same level and magnitude, and you were stacking those grams of gold, silver, or platinum over the same period of time, we're talking, 20, 30 years of monthly investing. Imagine the amount of bullion you'd be holding. And the amazing thing is, it's not, you keep portion of it, you own every cent of it. And in times like today, like I said, where gold and silver, I mean, silver's in a great position. It's over $25 an ounce right now. It was sitting for a large part of last year around 23, 24, especially towards the later part of the year. And it's now taken that step, and it's strong into the mid $25 an ounce range. It's still great value. I mean, silver, you touched on it with the green economy. Silver is firstly the second most used commodity next to oil on the planet. It has the highest heat and electrical conductivity. In other words, every single thing, even what we're talking through, our phones, our fridges, everything electrical has components of silver. Then, we spoke, and you touched on the green economy, that interesting enough, that we talk of electric cars. They currently, and this is an amazing stat. We've been doing a lot of stuff, and just out of interest, we've just posted our latest monthly newsletter on the site, which is specifically about the green economy, and we actually did it this afternoon. So it would be great if people want to just catch up on what I'm touching on. It's all there. But
yes,
currently,
let me just give the DCXBullion.com. DCX Bullion, BULLION.com. Yeah. So you did your newsletter, yes.
So right now there is currently 1.4 billion cars and trucks and buses on the world as we speak. And this excludes 380 million motorcycles. But there's a massive move towards this growth with electric vehicles. They're talking like within the next, in 2020, there were on electric vehicles. I just want to get this stat here because it's quite interesting. In 2012, there was 125,000 electric vehicles that were sold. By 2020, that was 324,000 electric vehicles were sold. And now we're into the millions, where it was actually in 2021, there was 6.7 million electric vehicles. So there's a massive, massive ramp up in that technology. That whole technology is going to need to be supported with the auxiliary infrastructure for recharging. So silver is going to be used in big quantities. The other thing where silver is also going to be used in is solar panels, your photovoltaic solar panels. And the two biggest countries that have the biggest demand for it right now is China and India. And they're talking about that growth just alone on that sector is going to be requiring over 90 million ounces of silver over the next 2 to 3 years. So we just see this demand ramping up all the time.
Right. And South Africa, okay, I don't know if we're still the top ranking exporter of gold and silver and platinum. I think what's our ranking currently? I think you once mentioned it. It's the top of your head.
In gold, we are, I think we ranking around 6th to 8th in the world. It is pitiful, considering we were the top runner by a good mile 2 decades ago. Platinum, we are the top platinum producer in the world. In fact, we produce more than 51% of platinum. And we are the biggest platinum producer in the world. The next country is Russia, which with what's happening there, and they're the biggest producers of palladium. Now, there's been a massive move away from palladium because we know that the main use for platinum has mainly been jewelry and the autocats within cars. It takes out all the noxious gases in your exhaust system. We know that technology is lessening because we know that those cars are going to become redundant over the next 5 to 10 years. So people then
not
say,
in this country, not yet.
You will be surprised. You say that. Now, I had a client who was based in Featherbrook on the West Rand, and his wife had an electric little Mini. And I kind of thought, well, I know there's a charge site at Clearwater and one at Cradlestone, and he's like, did you know between that point on Hendrik Potgieter, which is literally by the Krugersdorp freeway, to Clearwater Mall, which is roughly close to the other freeway, that there were 15 to 18 charge sites just in that area of the Hendrik Potgieter. So it does tell you that we seem to think, this will never happen. And I always say to people, remember when cell phones first came out and it's like this technology will never work here. We're in the middle of nowhere. And now you can go in the middle of nowhere and you can see a guy standing with a cell phone and he's talking to someone that's probably 100 kilometers away from him. These technologies, and there's a massive will. I mean, just on South Africa, and you mentioned that, which is quite interesting. And we've just opened up a big hydrogen facility in, I think it's Buchelsbaai. And Sasol's the big, this was released about time is flying, about 6 weeks ago. They were actually talking about
see if I can look up something about it.
Yeah. And the lovely thing with that is, people say, but what's hydrogen got to do with what's platinum got to do with this? Because hydrogen is going to become probably bigger. And it's not that it's not going to become, because people need to understand this. Electric cars are powered by a battery, right? Now, batteries, the biggest problem with a battery is the charge time, the weight, power to weight ratio. So in other words, in order to carry a certain load, you're going to have very big batteries and things like that, or you want to go further. Now, hydrogen is actually going to be in the same thing. So instead of a battery, you're going to have a tank of hydrogen. I'm simplifying this. But the catalyst that creates the hydrogen from gas into electricity, they use platinum. And platinum is going to be used, let's put it this way, to the peak of where platinum was over $2,300 an ounce in 2008. Platinum will be used probably 5 to 8 times that volume just on the future forecast for it within the next 5 to 10 years. So where it's sitting at now, and people say to me, like, what if you had to decide on what you'd look at from a precious metals? And I say, right now, silver is very well priced. It's exceptionally well valued, under $30 an ounce. The physical price, if you go online to go and buy an American Eagle or a British Britannica or thing like that, you're looking at about $30 an ounce. So that's the real price of silver. So the paper price sits around $25 an ounce, but it's still good value. Silver's been projected to go to about $100 an ounce within the next 3 to 4 years. Gold, it peaked out and it's now starting to build this whole new cycle. So gold is that one that's sitting there. We predict gold probably over the next 5 years to probably hit around $3,000 an ounce. But what happened today in an uncertain world, that gets thrown out of the window. And gold can go from $3,000 to $5,000 to $10,000 an ounce overnight because of the mass uncertainties. But in a hopefully a sane, normal world, the natural growth should be, by the end of this decade, we should be looking at a gold price probably around $3,000 to $4,000 an ounce. So double to where it is now.
Sure.
But platinum, now I said to you, in 2008, platinum went to about $2,300 an ounce.
Sure.
Now it's sitting at around $1,000 an ounce. Now I'm saying to you, where platinum has been that silent, it's the dark horse right now within the precious metals. We picked up on, there's been a massive surge, over about 140% from an investment. When we talk investments, we're talking the likes of JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all the big investment houses and banks in the world. Within the last 18 months, there's been over 148% or 47% increase from an investment perspective. So this is still, if I actually say to you, what's the relevance of platinum in hydrogen? People would say they have no idea. And yet, if I say to you that hydrogen is going to become one of the biggest fuel sources that we will have, that Japan, for instance, has declared themselves a hydrogen economy. So what does that mean? They're going to be powering from ships, airplanes, trains, cars, buses, homes. Everything will be powered by hydrogen. They will use solar. They will also use other green, green carbon neutral technologies. But the main drive of especially the things where we use combustion engines and things like that, is going to be definitely funneled towards hydrogen. And like I said, even ships. And that's where I say, and people say, yeah, but like where platinum was popular with in autocats, and then it fell out, and then palladium became more popular. The difference with this is because of the characteristics of platinum. I'm talking from a metallurgical perspective. There's nothing else available that comes close to its characteristics. In fact, that's why I'm even saying, and if you look at like rhodium, which is one of the platinum group metals, and I think rhodium's sitting at, I think it's over 125. I think it's $25,000 an ounce. I'll qualify that. I'll get that actual price.
Sure.
And that also overnight just shot up. Now, platinum, do I ever believe it will go to those levels? No. But because the lovely thing with platinum is it's going to be very easy to recycle it. So you're going to have a massive recycle a part of it. So silver's the same. So there's a lot going on, and I mean, these are the exciting things that. But you like say, and today, like, what would you do? Where would you put your money?
The little that I have.
We all have little
um,
right now, and that's the
yeah,
truth.
no, it's like it's actually daunting now. Like today, I mean, I joked with my son. I said, "Boyki, you better get a fits, like a trap fits, because you better start practice. Because yeah, I don't know how we're gonna. It's just insane. But all right, so for as little as okay, let's say I wanted to invest in platinum. What is the minimum amount? Okay, let's say I don't even know if I can cancel my RA. I'm not even sure. I don't even know all the T's and C's.
Yeah,
Um,
listen, I wouldn't. I'm not gonna
no,
recommend
you're not going to
anything to you.
financially advise me there, but
No.
okay, maybe or part of or something. So let's
Okay.
just go back. The minimum one takeaway evening a month. Let's say a good
Okay.
takeaway evening a month. What
So
are we
so
looking at?
Ruthie Simple. And this is the lovely thing of the MMCA, which is our monthly medallion club, is on a monthly basis, you're buying grams of gold, silver, or platinum from as little as 375 for silver, 450 for platinum, and 500 for gold. So if 500 Rand, I mean, you go to Willie's. I'd love to see what you'd buy for $500. But
I was there just now. I bought two. They actually have a special. I heard a brilliant thing that you must look for 350 sheets when buying toilet paper. Anything less is a mini roll, apparently. So I bought two 18 two-ply bog roll. I bought two kinds of specials that they had on tin tomato and onion and something else. Yeah, and it came to just under $500.
well, there you go.
Yeah, there
So
you go.
the lovely thing with this is now I'm going to simplify this. That 500 Rand, you will buy, well, a gram of gold would be a little bit more than that. But we will be every single month that 500 Rand you invest into gold, you physically buying the grams. We hold those grams for you until we get to an ounce of it. We then can either get it delivered to you or we hold it and vault it for you with free insurance. The lovely thing is what happened today, where the price starts to shoot up like that. You bought at, say, it was at $18.90 an ounce, and it went to 1960. And you then come and say, Dion, I'd like to sell. We sell you or liquidate your gold at the selling price today. So when it was at around close to that 1980 level, that would be the value of those grams. So they're not, you're not buying grams each month. They're actually growing with you.
Right.
And that's the lovely part of it.
Okay. Now I said I looked at stuff. I'm still working the fund budget. Like I told you, I've bought a home, and I'm still, and then you hear the news and you hear what's going on with the AfriForum case, and you listen to all the negativity, and you go, what have I done? But then you just keep your cool head and you go, life, the earth does continue to spin. Things do continue. We cannot get bogged down by negativity. And I would like to be able to still afford to shop at Woolies when I'm 65. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a very important thing that you're raising here. Everything's mindset. It can be in a position where we're dealing with these things. Like you said, you got what's going on with Julius Malema in court, and you got what's happening with the budget, and some people declaring it a 6 out of 10, a 7 out of 10, and then you hear the real economists, and they saying this budget is completely inadequate. I mean, that was Peter Bruce today. And interesting enough, I mean, when I looked at the budget, and I know Bruce Whitfield from 702, he had one of the guys from SARS. It was about 3-4 weeks ago, and this was just after we got that big IMF IMF loan. And he asked the guy from I can't remember his name, and please forgive me, but he said to him, so what is the GDP to debt ratio in South Africa right now? And the guy didn't even answer the question. He completely sidestepped, and he said, yeah, but this is going to bring a lot of people that are battling and have been suffering through COVID will now have extra money and things like that. And
Bullshit.
Well, the truth is this: we've got a big problem. Our growth, GDP to grow, a debt to ratio right now has gone over 80%. And the problem is, and this is what people don't understand, is we are a developing nation. We don't have that threshold to maintain such a high level in percentage of GDP to debt ratio. If we were a first world country, we could push it into the 90s. And some of the first world countries like the UK have at times sat at about 110% of GDP ratio. But they have that capacity with the infrastructure to maintain that kind of thing. We're a developing country. We've seen our rand, and I mean, it looks great right now. It's right down around 15.
Yeah,
The
it's gone
difference
over
is,
15 now. A month
yeah,
ago, I remember a
it was
month ago was
16.
14. It was
Yeah,
doing actually it actually rose in value with the dollar. I remember that.
yeah.
I got like, ooh, yay, it's gone down.
But
But
yeah,
now it's all gone up. Yeah.
it's gone up. Yeah. So the biggest problem with the rand is it's very volatile, and a lot of the international investors use it because it has lovely growth, peaks and dips, so they can actually hedge on it for a point and then pull out and take profits. So it's one of those currencies that, especially from the developing market sector, that tends to go against where the others tend to be, consistently degrading. The problem is the rand is overvalued, and you can ask any decent economist, and they will tell you that the rand sitting where it is right now is not realistic. It should be close to 20 rand to the dollar.
And
And if
someone
we,
told me today, who's usually on the stream listening, that he predicts in the next 2 years. And I'm no financial advisor. People, don't quote me here. Don't get me into the doghouse. But he predicts that in the next 2 years, we'll see the rand plummet to 20 rand to the dollar. He's not a financial advisor. He does trades. He's done very well for himself, but that's his prediction. And I'm kind of in the same mindset at this stage to agree. So ons gaan, as hulle sê, ons gaan kak. So I think
well,
it's time to start investing in real hard commodities. Seriously.
exactly, and that's the opportunity here. Is I don't think I ever gave you the example of Argentina. Did I
I
in the
think you
last
did.
time?
How literally but
Well,
repeat.
just briefly.
I vaguely
No,
remember.
what's actually quite nice with Argentina, it's a great case study, is in 2020, of January of 2020, the Argentinian peso to the dollar was 59 pesos to the dollar. They defaulted on their loans in June of 2020. And when they talk about a sovereign default, it's when you're unable to pay the interest of your loan, not the loan, the interest. Now, I'll give you a scary statistic after this, but so their peso currently sitting at over 100 pesos to the dollar. And the interesting thing here is we did a whole thing that if you'd invested 1 million pesos or held 1 million pesos in an Argentinian bank in January of 2020, and you went and bought 1 million pesos worth of gold, your pesos right now in the bank would be worth about 600 and probably about 630,000 pesos. Guess where the gold would be? Yeah, you would have lost literally 40%.
Yeah.
So the gold would be over 2 million pesos. So in a time where the country's collapsing, and I need people to understand this, in a time where the currency is collapsing, it's been completely demolished by the dollar, and the inflation, you see it, we see it, all the things with everything we buy, yet the value of the gold in that currency had doubled in that same period of time. And that for me is a massive, massive wake-up call. And that's why, like you said, we don't all have money. And that's why we developed the MMC, was for that specific reason, is that it allows everybody that opportunity to not say 10 years from now, I wish I had. And we're saying, you invest. And I always use the story of old Barbara from Langenbaan, where, she buys an ounce of silver every single month without fail. And after nearly 3 years, you think of the amount of ounces she has accrued and she's grown. And to that point that she's got this little nest egg. And, when you paying, 500 Rand for an ounce of silver or there and thereabouts, it's insignificant on a monthly basis. But
Sure.
when you start to put it together, that becomes meaningful. So that it's just kind of looking at things differently, really.
No, I said it last time, and I look, January and December were, we had so like this evening we've got a bit of a family drama, and we had another a fluffy family drama. I swear, everybody should. I swear, you should start like a pet insurance gold. Buy gold for your pet, because they cost tons of money. They do.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I can believe that. People love their animals.
They do. Maybe it's an idea, Dion. You're not allowed to take that. Dion's, we've heard it here first. But no, and think, okay, so I wanted to ask you, and who underwrites your business, just in case people are wanting to find out more. But everything is on the website, dcxbullion.com. I think last time you mentioned Fidelity.
Yeah, so from an insurance perspective, our vaulting partner, and we have an exclusive arrangement with them, is Fidelity Security. So this is one of our partners with Fidelity is Skynet through Fidelity. Ruthie?
Yes, I'm here.
Sorry,
I'm just you talking to the people now.
Okay.
Just carry on, continue. You've got a captive audience.
One of the interesting things with Fidelity is, Skynet are going to be they do all our low value. When I say low value, anything under R1 million, Skynet would deliver, and Fidelity would do the bigger deliveries. I had a client who collected for, I think it was in the Eastern Cape in J-Bay this morning. And by 4:00 this afternoon, he signed for it at his door from delivered today. And that's phenomenal. I mean, that kind of service over that period of time, you can't beat that. So we got some great partners on that side. When you say who underwrites from that side, Fidelity has Lloyd's of London that underwrites all their insurance. And again, they are the biggest security company on the continent and in the Southern Hemisphere. And we are exceptionally happy to be partnered with them. And it's been nothing but a blessing.
Okay. No, I believe you. I'm definitely itching to jump, because I am really worried about the future of the rand. I'm worried about the future of this country. South Africans are very tenacious, but we need to be clever as well. We need to really start thinking serious stuff now. Brass tacks or gold.
Well, a lot of our clients, the majority of we have a lot of clients that are just concerned, firstly, on preservation of their wealth. But then there's also other clients that are saying, what happens if this happens? Where do I keep my money? And they're concerned about losing this wealth. And that's why we say, of course, that's why we got the likes of a Fidelity. But again, silver, gold, and platinum offer different alternatives to what we currently being offered in the market, especially physical. And the opportunities are generally realized not today, but in 5 to 10 years from now. So if with an RA, we pay the premiums, and I said I've got one myself. But if I look at and I actually looked yesterday, interesting enough, and I thought 2,000 Rand a month, and it's not that much in the terms of an RA. But if you think I've been paying that for nearly 20 years. So you think about it, if I'd invested that same amount of capital on a monthly basis into physical bullion, gold, silver, platinum, where would that have put me? And I'll be honest, I'd rather have a whole thing full of precious metals where I can literally take them, and if I choose to leave this country tonight on an airplane, in the form that we manufacture, which is in medallions. They're not like Kruger Rands, which you're limited to a maximum of 10 if you can get a SARS clearance for 10. And they're legal tenders, so people advertise them as a great investment within bullion. They are, but they're not. And you need to be mindful of that they are legal tender. They're like the note in your wallet. They do belong to the government, and you only owe the value of that Kruger Rand. As far as little bullion bars, they need serial numbers, and you can't just leave the country without with them, because you need certain paperwork, you need full paper trail. Whereas a medallion, an ounce of gold, silver, or platinum, is classified as jewelry or collector coins, and there's no legal requirements as to any documentation. It's a personal item. And I mean, if you could afford it, which is a 32 ounce of gold medallion, which is a kilogram of gold.
Sure.
That sitting right now is over R1 million. It actually hit 1.1 million rand today in value, where a couple of months ago it was at about 840,000 rand. So you would have, if you had bought that kilogram of gold, you would have been up to literally over nearly 400,000 rand in value.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, we need to start. And you mentioned Magnus Haystack, and I know he's also said the way that people, especially I think our parents, did things, having gone through the war, buy a house, do this, and I've fallen into that trap. But I'm starting to wonder. I mean, I must be honest. Now that we've had such issues with water in Gauteng, I don't know about where you are, but I actually made a promise to myself to say, if our water security gets threatened, I want to be lucid. Like, I want to be liquid. Like, I want to be able to pick up and go. And I think it's very worrying. I think a lot of people need to start privatizing and making alternative arrangements and getting things. And I think this is an idea to start that.
Ruthie, I'm exceptionally positive, and I always have been. But there's been a couple of incidents over the last 18 months that has created massive concern. And I think vast South Africans feel the same way, that they've seen where, what happened in July of last year with the riots in Durban and in Gauteng, and just how that, like, literally, a fire, a small spark created a massive forest fire. It's that kind of thing that we're sitting on a tinderbox, and it's literally waiting to explode. The important thing is you need to be positive. You got to be able to but you also got to.
Oopsie, something's happened. Okay, we'll try and get Dion back. Dion, just reconnect. If you're listening, all you have to do is reconnect. I'll just do that, and hopefully he will come back in a second. But yeah, guys, I really look. I'm very blessed. I'm grateful for what I have, but I look at my little investments I had 2 years ago, and I think to myself, if I put all that money in, and apparently it's grown this much. Has it actually grown? Has it actually done things? I know there's the platforms on, crypto and all these things, and there's so much wondering, is it safe? Is it not safe? And some people have been very, very lucky. Some people have gotten in when you can. And I just think gold is stable. Like, gold is the hard commodity is kind of just always there. And especially now that the world's taking a far more interest in it, I think it's really the way to go. I don't know what's happened to our dear Dion. Let me message him quickly and just log back in. I don't know what happened to him. I think he got a message on his phone. And hang on 1 second. Let's try and get him back. Yeah. Phew. So yeah, hectic week, hey people. Very hectic week, I must say. I'm so glad. Thank God tomorrow is Friday. Yeah. But yay! Even though it is a busy weekend, always busy, I must say. But I plan on Sunday doing very, very little. Very little. Yeah. So yeah, if he doesn't connect with us in the next few minutes, I'm probably going to call the stream. But yes, dcxbullion.com. Have a look at it, explore. Maybe it's something that you want to delve into. I know I've been thinking about it. I just know January was flipping hard. December also, like I said, I had a furry baby emergency. So yeah, how's it, Stevie? How you doing? Using a bit of DCX much better than the far shell crypto scammers. Yeah, no, farcical. Listen to me, farcical. Yeah, I know. And this is the thing nowadays. You don't know who to trust. I mean, everyone's been talking about the swindlers and these people that are complete sociopaths and narcissists that scam people, and we are so trusting. And like I said, the website is up. He is under Dion's company is underwritten by Fidelity. You can go in, speak to other people. I know TG's sister buys stuff from him every month, and she's happy. So I think, and investigate. I think it's definitely time to look at other means of. I mean, I remember when I was little or younger, my dad, who passed many years ago, he was much older than I was. A lot Lamiki. Buy gold. You always invest in gold. Not that he did, but I mean, you think gold. That sounds so old. That sounds so like prehistoric. I have no idea where John is. I don't know if I should. I'm just going to miscall him and see if he's around still, or maybe he's had a power failure or something. Maybe his laptop just died. Oh dear. Let's see. Are you able to log back on?
I'm trying to get back on now. For some reason, the power just went out.
I was right. The power went out. All right. Well, we'll give you another few minutes. I am punting DCX Bullion, and I'm telling people to sort of look at maybe exploring it. But we'll hopefully see you soon. All right. Bye. Yeah. So his power did crash there. Yeah. So obviously he wasn't connected to an inverter, but I mean, I still as well. It was also on a bucket list for December. I planned on getting a UPS for our whatchamacallit, our internet. And yeah, it didn't happen because furry baby got sick. I don't know. She ate something at work and it ended up costing, I think, 3,000 and then medication. And the final bill came and it was close to 4,000 Rand for the furry baby. My furry love child. Yes. So that was our December. Okay, brilliant, Stevie. Lekker. I'm glad you wise and you're investing. And you're hopefully Dion will come back now. He is trying to get his machines up and running. And I think it's good to spread your portfolio. And some people even say to me, buy a little bit of crypto, buy a little bit of this. I just feel like I missed the bus completely. Someone told me when it was 100 Rand, it was 100. I remember seeing the price. It was 101 Rand for one Bitcoin. And I didn't jump at it. Yeah, I could hit myself for that. But then I think to myself, okay, so I had 10 Bitcoin. Then maybe someone scammed me, or maybe I lost it, or maybe someone hacked me, or maybe I invested in a bad deal, or I sold it too soon. I'd also be like slitting my wrists. So I'd rather not. Come, Dion, I don't know where you are. But yes, check out DCX Bullion. He's got the MMC Club, which is like the monthly package where you buy a coin and you buy what you want, whether it's gold or platinum or silver. You invest in that and you get your ounce every month, and eventually it tallies and it becomes sort of much bigger, and before you know it, you actually are wealthy and have like gold, physical gold. Hello, Brandon. How you doing? Sorry you late. It's okay. Our guest had a power failure and he's just slipped off. He's back. So yes, I have been mentioning the person that told me in 2 years' time. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. Yes, it's
no, it's all good. These things happen. We live in South Africa. I think we're prepared for everything now. Like seriously.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know where we left off there, but
I think we were. Don't ask me because I've been rambling. But yes, I think we were just talking about the actual value of commodity and the bullion and trying something new. Yeah.
Yeah, so as I was saying, I mean, the important thing is it's about looking at it like we look at how we invest into RAs and things like that, where we're putting money away on a monthly basis. We're not putting it in today and then trying to realize the value tomorrow. We know it's going to be over a long period. If you have that same mindset to physical bullion, I can guarantee you by the end of this decade, you wished you would have invested or bought more. It's that simple. I mean, I've got clients, and my one client who's quite one of our bigger clients. I mean, he messages me quite often, and he like just sent me a message. Gold's looking so good today, and because he's no, he anticipated when he bought, and he bought what 2 years ago, and to where it is now, and it's definitely going to start to push up and into that $2,000 range. It starts to go there, and then of course it's going to just keep going. There will always be pullbacks. I mean, this is the nature of commodities, but you got to, you got to take that step back to see the bigger picture, and that's where the real value is. It's over over the longer period of time.
Brandon said gold's been pearlier this week. No pun intended. Yeah,
Exactly.
Brandon. Yeah, Brandon, it's one of his hobbies to also invest and do and dabble in the markets. So yes. But it's definitely, like I said before, you got to nag me. You got to literally sales pitch me. If I haven't bought in this by the end of, you're going to have to come whip me into shape, because I just think, why not? Why not? Why not?
Well, my simple question is, if you, where are you putting your money? Where is your wealth being kept? Is it kept in rands? We've already spoken about the Argentinian thing, and I mentioned where Argentina defaulted on the interest of their loans. We just had the budget speech now, and when Tito Mboweni did his October midterm speech, now coming up to 18 months ago, during that speech, he was saying that for every rand that government spent then, 21 cents went to repaying the service, the interest on our loans. So for 1/5 of every rand that government spent was going to the interest repayments.
It's crazy.
And that's 18 months ago. So I can guarantee you that is a lot higher now. But that's kind of, where people don't realize, but we see it. I mean, you see the quality, as you're saying, we constantly going through power failures. Water's becoming an issue, and again, it's the problem is the infrastructure hasn't been well looked after over longer periods. Eskom has promised continuous power. We still involved with coal. Two of the biggest power stations have not even been completed. They're still not to full capacity yet. And yet we're going into a whole new era where coal, power stations will become redundant. Will it be in South Africa? No, we desperately need power. But I do believe that we're going to start to see a massive uptake on people. Like you said, people are getting cut full. People want to get off the grid where they don't need to. When the power goes out, you can see the people who have generators. I mean, especially you go through these fancy estates and stuff, and then suddenly you get that hum of all the generators like going off. And that's the truth. I mean, we got to start thinking about it. I mean, one of my clients, he's a big solar installer, and he does solar panels, but like to literally have a house off the grid. And he was saying that the increasing growth over the last 2-3 years has been phenomenal. That people are just they'd rather go and invest that 200,000 rand to literally get their house off the grid, where they don't have to worry about power again. It's just gonna produce itself.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something to think about. I think at best, I actually look. I don't enjoy the 4-hour load shedding. I must be honest. A 2-hour look. I mean, I like to prepare, so I always download something, or I make sure the phones are charged, or I've got my power bank. So I do try prepare, but shit shows do happen. And sometimes the inevitable is just, it happens. But I think I am a hippie at heart. I would like to also just go off somewhere off the grid completely one day. Hopefully my hips and my knees will last that journey. But yes, I do want to invest in commodities, and we have spoken about this. Oh wait, I keep reading Brandon. Sorry, I'm not scrolling down. But yeah, even Stevie says it's more like 50% now off every rand to pay our debt.
Actually, I was quite interested to see, Ruthie. I mean, Fortunately, I've been so busy over the last literally 2 days. I heard bits and pieces of the budget, but I did see some of the stats. So I'm definitely going to sit down on the weekend, and hopefully then we can actually get some of those. But yeah, listen, it's concerning. And you know, during that same midterm speech that Tito Mboweni gave, our then finance minister, he gave that South Africa needed a 3-point plan to stop us, because we were literally on the fiscal cliff and literally about to completely go over. And he was actually able to literally pull us back briefly. But one of the big things, and I heard it on the radio today, was that there was a zero increase in public sector wages. I mean, that was thrown out the door last year. We saw the first half of last year, there was massive pushback. And again, even in this year, there's already talk of increasing public sector wages. So, you know, these are the things that people need to look at is, yeah, you know, those are the things that are going to affect us. The SOEs, the likes of Eskom, I mean, they've applied for a new tariff increase.
I think
You
it's
know,
already
so we
happened.
yeah. You know, so it's those
and
kind
the
of things.
municipalities. So the ironic thing is, like, so the municipality where I live has been on a electrical blitz, cutting everyone's power, right? But they don't understand. Like, there's a big gap, because the ANC was running the show. Okay, hired cadres and nincompoops. And these people would get any old person. I mean, I remember when they first took over the municipality, I'd have guys coming and threatening to disconnect power. And where my boss's offices are, it's quite a well-to-do neighborhood. And they came to say, we're going to cut your power. Have you paid your bill? And my boss was having a function. And I said, no. Here's the proof of payment. Fuck off. Else I'm going to call the police, you know. And that's the kind of level of corruption that was a few years ago. But the people doing the work on the ground, they're not reading the meters correctly. They're not logging the correct meter numbers. They're taking estimated readings. And then you get a bill for like 200,000 Rand when you've only used 20,000 Rand, but the stupid schmuck put a digit on the end more, like that payment that woman got. And now you've got to pay 200,000 Rand, and you try and say to him, it's wrong. You have to recheck your figures. I don't know how to do that. We can't do that. That you've actually got to go to court process and get them to get an interdict, and that still doesn't even work. They still come and switch off your bloody power. True story. It's happened. I know colleagues. I know people who own properties.
Yeah. You know, you say that, and sadly, I mean, I don't generally discuss politics, but the biggest cancer we have in this country is corruption. And the day that people start to realize that we're all part of the problem. So when you get pulled over and you've been speeding, if you're paying that officer to walk away from your wrongdoing, and I know, I mean, I've got family members who are quite happy to pay it and drive off. And I'm like, but that's the problem. It's that old Giuliani in New York when he was the mayor
of New York, yeah,
the broken window policy. Start with the small things, and the big things will sort out. So we can accuse government, but as long as it's a simple thing, you know, bribery takes two people, and a lot of the times there are a lot of businesses that profit from. You know, a lot of the especially at the government level, where there's massive fraud, tender irregularities.
I mean, I saw in the news as well, they're coming down hard now on that. So I saw it, 2,000 kilograms they're disconnecting 2,000 kilograms of cable illegally connected. Now, there's going to be uproar about that, because obviously the people who have been illegally connected probably paid big money to have the guys do that. So again, it's the consumer, it's the worker in the informal settlement who's just trying to keep their day-to-day functioning, and have had to pay the the big oak in charge to get that material, and now the government's taken it away. Brandon's brought. Can you see the question?
Yeah, I saw that.
Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, the rand is weakened by
2.48.
Yeah.
Against the US today alone, a top long-term figure savings account will give you between 4 to 7% per annum, which is pathetic. Pathetic.
Yeah.
That's not an investment. That's not. And what's ironic is that in Europe, banks actually charge you. Their interest rates are so low that they actually charge you to keep your money safe. Right?
And what is it? I mean, most of the money you own is not even actual real money; it's digital. So, what are you owning? And again, that's why. And I'm not saying, I'm not saying that everyone is just going cash in their rands and things like that. But you must have a concerted effort to start allocating portions of your wealth, real wealth, out of rands and into commodities such as bullion, physical bullion, because they are going to maintain value over time. And you know, that's all that's about. It's not about saying to everyone, oh yeah, just get rid of your RAs and this and that. You've got to diversify, but you've got to make sure that you're putting things into certain vehicles that can hold wealth. And we saw it. I mean, today we are living in such uncertain times. If you see what we've done over the last year, I mentioned what happened in July last year. You see what's happening globally. You see everything, that we're living in such uncertain times of what's going to happen next. I mean, if you had said 2 years ago or even pre-COVID, think about the world you left pre-COVID to where we are now. I mean, you drive past these big office complexes, and I actually went past.
To let.
They're empty.
My world. It's my business. It's my business. Yeah.
So you know more than anybody the impact of just that. I mean, how many people I know personally that lost jobs during COVID and had to start to rethink on how they do things. So everything requires a certain resilience that a lot of people were not given as a basis to think. And a lot of the times it's about thinking differently, looking for those things that do make sense, and at least taking some of your wealth out and putting into those kind of vehicles.
I've actually just looked, because my financial advisor sent me my retirement annuity investment stuff, and if I look at it, I don't know how to exactly read it, and I'm not a great mathematician, but I don't think it's done very well.
No,
I think the amount of money that I invested, because it gives me my total premiums paid to date. Sure, it's actually quite hard. It's like, yeah, I haven't doubled. It's actually only made like, I don't know if this is right, but like a quarter of its value. It's only increased a quarter in its value.
Yeah, that's very possible.
And I'm thinking, hey,
yeah, that is very possible. And again, I'm not a financial service provider or but again, this is the thing. We were led to believe that these things offer value, but like I said, when Magnus Haystack came out with that tweet, and we hear this all the time. People want to make sure that they're putting their money into something that's going to be realized over the long term. And then when you get to the long term and then you want to actually realize it, then they're like, well, it didn't perform as we said.
It's like insurance. It's like you take your, you've got to pay kind of this, what's it called, excess. You've got to pay 10,000 in excess to get your car back. And you're like, what? I've been paying. Yeah, it's all a scam. At the end of the day, it's all a business, I suppose. But I don't want to take away from your business. But like Brandon says here, he supports. In fact, I think Brandon's a very busy man. He'd be an amazing supporter of your business. I think you and him should definitely have a chat.
Ruth, I just saw that one comment jump. I don't know who said that, but I just saw the end there about it shows that gold is a massive store of wealth because of what's happened with Russia. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Yeah.
was saying earlier. You know, Brandon, exactly. You know, I literally, the intro was exactly that. Is if we want to see what is real value, in these times you see it straight away. And like I said, I don't knock Bitcoin, I don't knock those things, but we haven't seen massive increases. You see the things that really matter now, and yeah, today is a perfect example of that. Yeah.
No, I think I'm gonna swap my RO for some physical bullion.
Well, take that, as I said, if you consider what you're spending on a monthly basis.
Mm.
You
The
know,
problem is it gets put through the business, I suppose, and I get a tax. You see, that's
a
where
rebate,
they
yes.
get your rebate.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what? It's actually an interesting exercise. I'm gonna, you know, because we've been doing so much research over the last 6 to 8 weeks, and what's lovely with that is it gives us a great idea of what's really happening. Like I said, this whole platinum thing is way bigger, way bigger than a lot of people are actually letting us know. And like I said, if I see where platinum's priced at, I can tell you now, in 3 to 4 years from now, it would probably be close to 3 times that, and I'm talking $1,000 an ounce. So just bear that in mind.
and I think the rand, Brandon, what do you think our rand will be in 3 years' time? What do you? I'm actually putting this question to Brandon because, well, I think he summated that, or someone summated today that it would probably look at in 2 years' time, yeah, over 20 rand. In
Well,
fact, I suspect,
the rand is overvalued. The rand is
yeah,
way overvalued, and
yeah,
the reality is it should. If you look at you know, similar economies and where their currencies are at, I mean, we for sure are overvalued.
yeah,
And
no,
again,
for
I
sure.
mean, the rand fluctuates. I mean, we've had 16 to 1 to 19 to 1, and now it's down to around 15, breaking 14. You know, under 14 or under 15. Listen, I think there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of speculation in the market, and the rand tends to respond to that, and people take profits, and they actually take advantage of that. But it will come. It will come where the rand will go to 20 to 1, without a doubt. I see there. I just saw 24 to 1. I don't know who said that.
Yeah, Stevie says 24 rand to the dollar, probably in
Yeah.
like 2-3 years' time, if not.
I actually, like I said, if you take the Argentinian question, like I said, their peso was 59 pesos, and after they defaulted, it literally just slid. They you know, that is sitting at over $100 pesos a dollar. So
Okay.
that kind of tells you what will happen, and we're there. I mean, the truth is, if you see where the rand is, and you see where our economy is, you see all these things, and it's not like we slowing things down. Government isn't. They said the 3-point plan that they did in October of 2020, where they said we needed to stop zero increase in public sector wages. We needed to reform the municipalities. We need, you know, and all these things. And what has been done since then? Nothing. In fact, it's actually got worse. And again, I'm not there. There's a lot of good people in government. So, but the problem is, it's the political will as a collective, and that is where we've got our biggest problems right now.
Look, I don't know. Look, I think government as a whole. I don't think the ruling party. I think I know a couple of decent, honest people that want to make this country a better place. But I think that's a brilliant. I think, yeah, we need to still have hope, and we need to make ourselves richer. And I think whoever thinks the rand's going to save you or the government's going to save you, run now. Yeah, we need to make other plans. So Dion, thank you very much, and I'd love you to do an analysis more on the budget and sort
Yes.
of where we can, how it can really benefit us. And thank you, Stevie. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you, everyone.
Yep,
Melissa
thanks,
was here tonight. Nick Mueller, Roadrunner was here. Nick Unal. So thank you, everybody, for joining me, and thank you for coming on. DCX Bullion.com can start
Yep.
small, monthly. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
one
Thanks,
night at the pub,
Ruthie.
people.
And
One night at the pub.
exactly. Well, the cost of alcohol right now, I think it's probably a couple of drinks actually.
No, listen, I don't know how. No, I mean, a good bottle of whiskey will set you back $400.
Yep, there you go.
Nuts.
Yep,
One bottle of whiskey.
there you go.
Save your liver. Save your liver. Buy gold.
Oh,
All
thanks,
right.
Ruthie, and thanks to
Thanks to my guests.
your
Hang
listeners.
on there
It's
for
always
a sec.
appreciated.
Cheers, everybody. See you next week. Brandon saying goodbye. Sharp. Wishing you all great success. Excellent stuff. Thanks,
Thank you.
Brandon. Cheers, viewers. Take care. See you next Tuesday. Bye.
Cheers, Ruthie. Bye.